I now call to order the Planning Commission regular session agenda for Tuesday, February 7th, 2017. Roll call, please.
Sandra Salvack.
McCoy here.
Strube here.
Buckholz here.
We have a quorum. Can we stand now for a moment of silence and the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Libby, do you want to come up?
Either of you want to speak?
Yeah,
Okay. Let me grab this.
just one name there. Okay, I understand there's a discussion tonight by the Planning Commission on an animal tethering ordinance. I'd like to say that I'm in favor of an ordinance that prohibits the tethering of animals in the town of Cape Charles. In particular, dogs in particular are social creatures and do not belong tied up outside. When dogs are tethered, they are vulnerable to loose animals, the heat of the sun, and lack of water. Dogs can inadvertently knock over their water bowls, and unless their owners check on them periodically, they can be stuck out in the hot sun without water and die. Unfortunately, we can't count on owners to check on their animals every half hour or so, as evidenced by the many reports and news of animal cruelty. Please place my comments in the public record.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I don't want to sign.
Okay. Okay. Any changes anybody wanted to make to the agenda format? Do I have a motion to approve the agenda format as well? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Have you gotten any?
They look good.
All right. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes as written?
I make a motion to approve the minutes of January the 3rd, 2017.
Second. All in favor? Any opposed? So carried. Reports, sir?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, there's just one thing I'd like to bring to your attention from the staff report, and I always happy to answer any questions. Number 7, the Board of Zoning Appeals did receive an application for a variance from the accessory building maximum square footage requirement for a 1.5 acre lot out in the RE district for a gentleman who wanted to put a 960 square foot accessory building on 1.4 acres in excess of 60,000 square feet. The BZA held their public hearing and granted the variance. They're also working on a letter they'll be sending to the Planning Commission requesting text amendment to the accessory unit, not accessory dwelling unit, for the accessory unit regulations in Article 4 relative to the footprint of a building and the square footage of a lot.
Okay.
Article 4 is regulations for all districts.
Mhm.
Tops out at 660 square feet,
Okay.
presuming a double-sized lot,
Got it.
1,200 square feet.
Yep.
This gentleman's lot was in excess of 60,000 square feet.
Yeah, right, which makes sense. Yeah, that's
So
fine.
that's likely to come by way of an amendment, text amendment that works at a percentage of lot coverage.
That's the old Quenville residence?
Yep.
Sorry?
Yeah, it's the old Quenville residence.
Oh, okay, okay.
I mean, and the funny thing is, I mean, we're gonna make an amendment, and I think, they're gonna be the only ones that are in it.
That's okay, we got,
You know,
it's all about being covered. Yeah.
I understand, because we don't have any, I don't think, I mean,
I think he's the biggest residential lot in town.
I think so.
Yeah,
It's what?
biggest residential lot in town.
Yeah.
In the RE district, all the lots are minimum 1 acre.
Okay.
So expect that next month. Otherwise, I have nothing to add unless there's any questions.
Anybody have questions on any of the reports?
No.
Do I have a motion to approve the, go ahead.
These are the new reports. Okay. I don't remember. Oh, Oh, okay. That's that one pager.
Yeah, of course,
Yeah, those are fine, okay, and what the other people are doing and all, yeah. Oh, that's fine.
Okay.
Do you know the, number 2, timeline on that?
Sorry?
It's the Airbnb for that homestead.
I just started reviewing materials last week. So, I mean, if the commission's interested in moving that forward next month, I can, or at least an informational report on it.
Tax.
Oh, I see.
Basically, it's basically someone competing with Airbnbs and other rentals, basically renting out a room, and there's right now no laws in the books, at least in our area, to deal with collecting the tax from, especially when it's basically apples to apples. Right now, you got these Airbnbs popping up, and somebody can rent out a room during the summer for a week and not have to report any tax income or have a business license, which kind of hurt the B&Bs.
Yeah, exactly.
Not playing fair, so
Right.
it's like Uber,
Understand.
the taxi companies.
Okay.
Point of interest, there were 15 Cape Charles properties identified on Airbnb.
Okay. It would be helpful if you gave us an update. Thank you, sir. At least we can keep it in the keep it visible, and we'll pay attention to it and move it forward. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions on reports? Do I have a motion to accept the reports as written?
I make a motion to accept the report.
All in favor? Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Old business. The CIP for this year and next. It's unfortunate we have such a light turnout for such an important topic. I know.
I thought the same thing, so, I mean, if it's the commission's pleasure to review it or table it, either one.
I would prefer to table it. I want more eyes on this. Because
Would be good.
I'm sorry?
A little bit more info would be good.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm pleased that Planning Commission has been given such a role here to do this, as we haven't in the past had much to do, but it makes sense having come from comprehensive plan to, and this almost guarantees there's gonna be a good linkage with that
We would
plan,
hope,
and gives
yes,
us
right.
kind of some
Yeah,
pats for the work that was done on that. So, yeah, but it is fairly extensive, and I didn't know if we were just supposed to give a general idea. Okay, but I could use more time too. There's one thing I was gonna do a little more checking with, but okay.
and for stuff like this, Bill's been kind of our eyes and ears into what's right and what's not so right. So
Yeah.
it's important he has a chance to weigh in on that.
And we're into 17 now, right? So
Yep.
16 is just kind of history,
Right.
and some things starting to stop rather abruptly that when you tend to fill in the blank. Well, that's probably because, and just kind of make sure that. Okay.
I mean, if there's any specific questions, the town manager and I are here right now.
I don't think we're prepared to ask at this point. And that, yeah. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
All right. Any more questions on the CIP? Sign ordinance.
That's their report there. Tonight, the recommendation is to set a public hearing date for text amendments, along with a number of amendments recommended by staff to either reconcile internal language with other sections of the ordinance, or take those that are most egregiously not content neutral and strike the language. When I say most egregiously not content neutral and strike the language, there's also a one-liner in there from the subdivision ordinance, which is an equal mess relative to fees. That section that's in the subdivision ordinance, which still is on the books, talks to a fee structure that is decidedly out of date and in conflict with the fee structure that was established by the town council a number of years ago. So rather than have the town treasury writing checks back to people to refund them, it's important to reconcile the language, so staff recommends striking all that language about what every individual fee is, and just replacing it with a line that says all fees shall be governed and set forth by the town council at allocate Charles.
Yeah,
Having to constantly go back and amend this section,
yeah, we don't need that kind of grief.
because you can't catch up.
Yep.
Also, and my apologies by way of an exclusion, I also recommend that previously approved dog pen language also be included in the public hearing for these text amendments. Which I believe was done in November,
Okay,
October.
that's fine, absolutely.
We have that in the text public hearings.
Yep.
Public hearings at the time.
Yep.
So I will include that in the final language
Okay,
for the advertisement, which will go out in March.
Yeah, well, it looked like, the definite, it was made to make country neutral in line with the state guidance and all, so unless we get into wordsmithing, I didn't see any major problems with what was in here myself.
okay. Any other comments on the sign ordinance?
Does the sign area stuff make sense? We again have conflicting definitions of the sign area. Article 2, we define it one way, Article 4, we define it another way. So the recommendation is either,
With the frame.
yeah, just a simple geometric
Okay.
measurement.
Substrate,
I didn't hear what you said.
it's
Substrate
substrate.
wall, yeah,
So,
simple,
Yeah,
simple.
Because you can't have verbiage without being attached to something.
Any other discussion on sign ordinance?
there is no longer really a viable business association that would somebody would take a quick look on their behalf or anything, make sure there's nothing. Well, you, okay. I mean, he may not be the head of it, but you
He's around.
flag anything that might be,
It could be a conflict of interest.
well, you can point it out. Okay. This is something that somebody might raise,
Yeah,
but,
I mean, to me, it's perfectly fine.
okay.
And to be
Because
fair,
Larry and I've talked about this a number of times, just because dealing with the current sign ordinance and what can be gotten away with, so.
and,
Okay.
yeah, and it's up to the public to step up to raise an issue if they find something that they want to speak about, or raise an issue about, so. Any other comments on the sign ordinance before we move on?
Just by point of information on the Strawberry Street, Mason Avenue signs, the pop-up signs. Town council at their work session on February 2nd, again, iterated the plan that the pop-up signs will stand until the wayfinding sign program is in place.
Okay,
So that is at some point in the future.
good, okay.
You were supposed to have it like last spring. Has there been one reason why it's been delayed? Or a multitude of?
It's in the purview, or it was council's assignment to the purview of the community enhancement program / Main Street program.
Which is in the process of being formed.
Okay.
Hopefully soon.
And I noticed, I guess, last Christmas time, I went to Melbourne, Florida, and they had a historic town sign thing, but it included the names. And I suppose if merchants paid into it, you could have such as a sign that had both a generic kind of description and lists the merchants, I don't know.
Yeah, if they.
But again, that would take a lot of cooperation on the part of the merchants, but.
And any of the, on an individual basis, any of the contributing structures to the historic district in the C1 are encouraged to get those plaques.
Mhm.
And the plaques, I don't count them as signs. To me, that's
Okay.
a property identification.
Okay.
Who will the new, what is it called, the streets, what are they calling that group?
Community enhancement,
Who will they answer to?
the board, their board.
Their board.
But they'll still fall under all the guidelines in the town. they can't make their own rules up.
Right.
They still have to,
Well,
they
I was
still,
just curious to see how that was going to roll.
yeah, it's not a town, department.
Is it, do they, are
It'll be
they,
a town employee, but the actual Main Street itself, the board is not a town department.
is it an advisory group?
I guess you can call it,
Okay,
I
okay.
guess you can call it that, but they're basically, it's gonna be just like, it's almost gonna be like a business association, but the difference is the town right now is funding them.
Mm-hmm.
The goal of Main Street is to be self-sufficient, self-funded.
Got it, okay. Okay.
Okay.
So Tom's doing them a favor.
Correct, because it
Okay.
only benefits the town.
Right, exactly, understood. Understood, okay. Any other discussion on the sign ordinance?
And that's a 10,000-foot overview.
Mhm.
They still report to the town council based on the monies that are,
Well,
given. It's just to base, make sure, hey, what are you doing?
yeah, exactly, exactly. Due diligence on making sure you're covered, you're identifying where you're spending your money. Okay.
Okay.
Last call, any other comments on sign ordinance?
Yeah, we spent so much time on that.
I know.
That was fun.
Yeah.
To do it all over again.
Okay,
But
Planning
it probably
document.
got better.
sorry.
Mr. Chairman, you need a public hearing date. Set April 4th.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
We won't have time to town council to set a, town council needs to do it in March, they won't be able to set a public hearing date, so it's advisable. Planning commission sets the April public hearing date today. This way the council can set theirs on February 16th, because it needs to set it on March 16th, we don't have an April 4th.
Okay.
Uh,
Anybody have an issue with that?
Yeah.
You were so guided. Okay. Thank you, sir. Any other discussion on sign ordinance? Yay. Planning documents review.
We still need a motion and a second to set that public hearing date for April.
That's going to be April 7th, April 4th.
Fourth.
I make a motion, we set a public hearing for April 4th. For what was it for? The
Proposed
tax
tax
Text
amendment
amendments
to
to
the town.
matters, the sign ordinance, and
subdivision and dog pens.
dog pens.
Do I have a
I'll
second? Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Thank you, Libby. Planning documents review. Accessory unit study.
2006 accessory unit study is attached. It's a brief but very well done report with a good methodology behind it. It considers every conceivable backyard building in town at the time, and their potential for those units to be used as dwelling units, or as they say, accessory apartments. Hasn't been updated since July of 2006. Staff finds value to keeping parts of the document, and reconsidering the units that are identified as 350 square feet and above, and leaving the small units be, because the draft language that was worked out on accessory dwelling units doesn't go that small.
Okay.
And
We've got to make do for the one we just talked about a couple of minutes ago, on top of that, right?
well, here we go, because
Go ahead.
because then if you have, as the gentleman put his 960 square foot accessory building on his acre and a half, 960 square feet in the R1 is buildable size for a house.
Yeah, I understand.
So you're getting decidedly beyond, at that level of square footage, you're getting beyond just an accessory dwelling unit, you are getting into a second residential unit on a residential lot. So while this, taps out as far as a minimum square footage, a maximum square footage is probably also worth capping, this way someone doesn't have, and again, it would affect relatively few lots, but with a 960 square foot garage, you can put a 960 square foot dwelling unit upstairs. For all intent and purposes, you've got a second house. And we're not talking about the tiny house movement with the accessory dwelling unit, because it still has to be used as something accessory to the principal house. Still has to be a garage or a workshop or an office or a knitting room or something other than
Just a place
a
to
tiny
take out.
house.
Right.
Right.
How do we reconcile that with what's been done at the Keck property? Is there a language difference that separates them, or is there something else that separates them?
No, there's no language difference.
Okay.
It does get into a square footage difference, because in order to accommodate somebody who's in an agricultural lot,
Right.
for all intent and purposes, an agricultural lot, who needs a shed beyond the size to put a weed whacker and a push behind mower.
Well, it depends on whether or not they have livestock.
Yeah.
Understood.
So, that's where you run into, this gentleman he needed 40 by 24.
Yeah, understood.
40 by 24 is the footprint of a house in R1. So obviously you want to reduce the ability of someone to put a tiny house in their backyard.
Right.
Because that's not what the intent of either this study was or what the intent of the accessory dwelling unit is. Accessory dwelling units, even by conditional uses, that it's still first and foremost an accessory building.
Right.
It's not a second residential unit.
Okay.
And so now, it sounds like good edits, but now it's also going to really update the document from 2006 to 2017, which makes me wonder if the tables will have to be updated for any new dwellings that have occurred since 2006.
Yeah, it would. We can go back and check in the property files to see who's pulled
So there is a little bit of work.
zoning clearance on putting a new share garage in.
Yeah.
Okay.
And of course, new construction is easy to track on that.
Okay. Is accessory unit based on appearance or on use?
On use.
On use? Okay. So somebody could actually look like it, but he said, I'm just using it for storage, and that'd be all right.
Yeah. And again, our accessory, our dwelling unit is separate sanitation, separate sleeping, and separate cooking.
Right.
So if somebody, again, wants to put a day bed and a microwave upstairs above their garage, you can't stop them.
Yeah. So you just can't tell walking past something what it is until you go and actually see what's inside.
Right. Now, if they try and put their own separate bathroom in there, they'll catch them. But some of these, the other two, the cooking area, the sleeping area, you can walk
Didn't we
right.
come up against this with the couple that wanted to let their son, he was handicapped and wanted,
That's one. There've been some others, and the answer is, is prohibited in the zoning ordinance. Recommended in a comp plan and prohibited in the zoning ordinance, so there's still that.
Yeah, there's a lot of illegal, accessory buildings based on our code.
Okay, so. Is this something we want to get a full quorum before we move forward on this, or is this something we can just bless and move on?
I think we need it.
I think so too.
Because, before, I think we've talked about this before, and most of the planning commission was for it before.
I understand. But I don't,
Yeah.
with such a light turnout, I don't want to second guess anybody.
Yeah.
Can we put it on next month's agenda,
Yeah.
please? Thank you, sir.
so we're gonna request the 350 square, like it's written.
We're going to review it
Very
as a
good.
body.
Yes.
As a
okay,
body.
As a body.
Right.
One of the main things was people moving out in the summertime, letting their house out,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm not opposed to.
Any other comments on the accessory unit study?
Randolph and Tazewell, got them all.
Sorry?
Randolph and Tazewell, we're going to have all that accessory buildings.
No, okay. Animal tethering ordinance.
The animal tethering ordinance is back after the town council reviewed it at their November 3rd, 2016 work session. 2 items were brought forth. One was that text amendment relative to dog pens. Council had no issues with that, they were fine with it. The other was the dog tethering, which is the zoning ordinance, and then the purview of public hearing and all. The other one is the animal tethering ordinance, which is the town code, does not require a public hearing. So that can be dealt with as a regular action item in a town council meeting. There was a lot of discussion regarding why people tether a dog and under what conditions they do. It was mentioned that there are legitimate and humane reasons and humane methods to tether an animal for a period of time. It was also mentioned that the resources are limited as far as staff is concerned, and the ability to keep a property under observation for 11 or 12 hours, even a period shorter than that. And that the enforcement is done by the county animal control officer rather than by the town PD.
I was thinking of a drone. As we're talking about it, right? But you still have to have somebody look at the footage, so
Right.
it's
So
doesn't help at all.
Well, that's why I said get rid of it, and then we'll have to delay enforcement as dog tethered.
Yep.
Done.
Yep.
That's the easy way to enforce it. I missed this too.
So there was the Fairfax County ordinance was introduced, and then the city of Suffolk, the Fairfax County has a 1 hour, no more than 1 hour cumulatively within a 24-hour period.
That assumes you have a body who can monitor that, but that's the one thing we're sticking on.
I'm sure Fairfax County does.
I'm sure they do too.
And then the other one
They've
was
got the tax base to be able to afford it. We don't.
the city of Suffolk just makes it unlawful to tether an animal regardless.
I think that's, and I don't know that we have anybody here who would disagree with that.
No,
Right,
that's,
Present or not.
Suffolk doesn't allow dogs?
Correct.
right, and that's what we modeled our statute that we wanted to do with.
I mean, there's precedence there, and there's always the opportunity to hear arguments to the contrary and that kind of thing.
Right.
I have, Dan Burke had sent his comments regarding this.
Go ahead.
If I can just read
Sure,
them
mhm,
again to the record.
yes.
He said, in his opinion, we should opt for a very simple anti-tethering ordinance. And in quotes, he says, no unattended tethering of animals under any circumstances. This is anything else will be unenforceable.
Okay, so we came to the same conclusion. Yeah.
So basically, you still tether the dog until you're there with them.
Right. Exactly.
Okay, yeah. I mean, even children are tethered when parents.
Crazy as it
You
may
know,
be.
harness on a clothesline. Yeah. In the 50s,
Thank you.
Yeah. I have no issue taking a vote now and letting that be the recommendation. Go ahead.
I got, just to reiterate from
Mhm.
Dan, because it's basically, it's pointless to put any time on that because
What is the source, please?
Dan,
Okay.
sent me,
Okay.
just sent me a message.
Okay.
I said, just sent it, because I think it's pointless to put any time on that, we couldn't enforce it. So I think it's best to keep it simple, unattended tethering of any animal, anytime, basically what you just said there.
Right.
If it's not attended, no tethering, if someone's there, it's like basically someone's in the leash, so.
Yep. Exactly.
So I am pretty much for that.
Okay.
And then you brought up the pen thing, but the pen, that's going to public hearings.
Yeah, that's right. Do I have a motion to accept, okay, before we do that, let's,
We're almost reiterating their stance on it. But
go ahead.
actually more clear that basically no tethering while unattended.
Correct.
I think that's the difference, we're actually defining it. We didn't define it.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't think we did.
Now,
That doesn't outlaw tethering, just it's unattended tethering.
this becomes our recommendation to council, and council is the one that actually passes on, it, right? All right. Do I have a motion to recommend to council to move forward with this pros?
I make the recommendation that we,
Do I have a second?
A second.
All in favor? Any opposed? So carried.
this has to come back.
Yep, no problem.
Again.
We have a bunch of animal lovers here. Good decision.
Thank you all.
Thank you all. New business?
None from me.
Do we have any announcements? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Make the motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Any opposed?
No.
Thank you all.
Every